Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael, and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a throwaway account in the relationship advice subreddit. The post is titled, "My husband knocked out my brother for calling me a whore. My parents want me to choose them or my husband. What's the right choice?" Sorry for the throwaway account. I have colleagues on my main account and I want to keep this as private as possible, but I also need advice. As my title says, basically. This past weekend, my husband and I were over at my parents' house for a barbecue. The day was going great until my brother, for some reason, started to have a go at me, calling me names and belittling me. My husband pulled my brother aside and had a talk with him, and the insults stopped. An hour or so later, we were standing around talking with some friends and family members, and my brother came up to me and told me I'm a whore. His exact words were, "You know you are a fucking whore, right?" He said it loud enough for almost everyone at the party to hear. All I saw was my husband next to me look at me, then I felt a push to the side. My husband stepping in front of me, and the next thing was my brother out cold on the ground with blood on his face. All I heard was my mother yelling and my husband saying, "You don't talk to my wife like that. I warned you already." Before I continue, my husband didn't hurt me. He didn't push me hard or anything like that. I don't know how to describe it, but it was like a push that someone will give you when they are trying to pass. I went maybe one step back, that is all. I am not mad at my husband, I'm mad at my brother. The whole day he was demeaning me, insulting me, belittling me. I don't know where this came from, as he has never talked to me like that or to anyone that I know of. The bigger problem I have is that I have to choose. Either my husband or my parents. My parents are pissed and have given me an ultimatum. I either leave my husband and divorce him or they cut me off completely. My husband doesn't give a crap that they are mad. The only thing he is mad about is that he only got one punch in his words. I love my husband and don't want to lose him, but I also don't want to lose my parents. They have supported me through a lot and have always been there for me. I know they are serious, as this is the first time they have ever issued me with an ultimatum. They also threatened my husband with an assault charge, but he doesn't care and welcomed them to do it. I'm stuck between a decision that will change my life forever and I'm panicking. I have received messages from friends and other family members that have given me support and condemn my husband, but they are leaning more on the support side. Any advice will be appreciated. Edit to clarify, I am not choosing my husband, I have never questioned that, but I also don't want to lose my family. I am very family oriented and family to me is everything. I want to find a solution where I can keep both. Update. First, I would like to thank everyone, and I want to apologize as well for the way I worded my post. It's no excuse, but my emotional state isn't the best. I am unable to link my previous post. Just look on the account. My husband is my choice, and I have no intentions of leaving him at all. Never had. I know it's early for an update, but I'm more confused now about what is going on. My parents invited me over to have a talk with them, but they wanted me to come alone, as they didn't want my husband at their house. My husband refused to let me go alone and said if he isn't going, then he won't allow me to. He basically said, with you alone there, they will just pile on you and that I won't let happen. So we went together. My parents weren't happy to see him, and my mother wanted to say something until my husband told her he isn't there for them but for me, and if he is forced to leave, I will leave with him. I agreed with him. Reluctantly, they agreed. My brother was there as well. He has a broken nose and chipped teeth and refused to look at me or my husband. He just kept looking at the ground even while talking. Apparently, what happened with my brother is that he broke up with his girlfriend a month ago. It's more like she broke up with him. I don't know the reason and don't care. I wasn't aware of this as we aren't close like that. According to him, the reason he had a go at me this weekend is because my life, according to him, my perfect life with my husband, kept popping up on his feeds and he got jealous. Everything on my social media is with my husband. I don't really use it for anything else, but his feed was full of my posts and that set him off as I had something that he didn't. It got worse when he overheard me and my mother talking when I had a discussion with her over children. My husband and I are currently trying to have a baby, and that just made everything worse in his head. His life was falling apart and mine was going perfectly, and I had and was trying to have what he wanted with his ex. He said he didn't take my husband seriously when he pulled him aside, and my husband warned him. I seriously don't know why he went after me, as nothing he said was true in any sense. And I did ask him why he said those things. He refused to answer me. I asked him why the whore comment, because he knows my husband was my first in everything and it has only been him all these years. He refused to answer. I asked him if trying to have a baby with my husband makes me a whore as it involves sex, and he just left the room. I asked my parents why they didn't step in and tell my brother to leave or stop. My dad said he wanted to, but my mother told him to leave my brother be, as he is not actually hurting anyone. The same with the ultimatum. They wanted to protect my brother. I asked what about me, and they were silent. All my father said was the ultimatum was my mother's idea, and he went along with it. This is basically where we are at the moment. A lot more was said, but I don't think it matters. My husband did apologize to my parents for what happened, but refused to apologize to my brother. When my mother asked him to apologize to my brother, he outright said no. He won't apologize for standing up for me, and my brother got what he deserved. He was warned and didn't listen. My mother said it still doesn't excuse him for hitting my brother. My husband asked my dad what he would do if someone called his wife a whore. My father said he would have a talk with that person but would never hit someone. My husband laughed and told my dad he is a weak-willed, spineless man if he allows someone to demean his wife like that. That got my mom red in the face. I could see her get angry. That is when I told my husband it's time to leave. I told my parents that I will be going low contact with them, and the ultimatum they gave me broke the trust I had in them. I understand they wanted to protect my brother, but in doing that, they hurt me. This seemed to take all the anger out of my mother. They asked if I will be cutting them out completely, and I told them that is up to them. I don't want anything to do with my brother at the moment, as he can't even apologize for what he said to me. I told them if they can respect my wishes, we will see. When we got up to leave, my husband went over to my parents and actually still greeted them politely, but told my dad it's time to grow a backbone. I don't know what I saw, but I think it was shame in my mother's face, because my dad looked at my mother and she looked away from him. This is where we are at the moment. My husband, on the way back home, apologized for possibly escalating things, but told me it was time someone told my dad the truth. He said whatever punishment comes, he will take and deal with any fallout. I don't need to worry or stress about anything. Star Kindled said, I just hope this unstable girl doesn't start spreading lies about OP's husband. Jace Mina said, so they were perfectly okay with ruining their daughter's marriage just to appease their son. Just wow. To this, a deleted user said, I'm sure feelings are just running high and I doubt they meant it. I stay out of my wife's drama with her siblings and parents. She doesn't want me to stand up for her. They have their issues and their own way of working them out. Although no one has called her a hole, it's definitely gotten heated, and the one time I tried to stand up for her, they all got mad at me. This next story was made in the AITA subreddit by a user named Capital Scheme. The post is titled, I want to divorce my postpartum wife. It's stupid to think I'm at this point, but here I am. My soon-to-be ex-wife and I have wanted kids for years, and we were thrilled when she finally got pregnant last year. From day one, I wanted to be the most supportive husband and future father I could. Her father was never involved in her life. I used to work as a tech in labor and delivery, and my brother, to put it kindly, is not the most involved father. I saw too many problems up close when it came to lacking husbands, and I would be damned before I made the same mistakes. The problem is, roughly 4 weeks into her pregnancy, everything started going downhill. She stopped wanting sex. Fair enough, hormones and stress make that a problem. I went full stop. But then she didn't want any physical interaction. No cuddling, no kissing, slowly becoming more and more distant. Her eating habits constantly changed and she was difficult about it. She would demand I get her something all day, then the moment I gave it to her, she wanted something else, screaming at me. Okay, again, hormonal issues, I get it, no problem. She never let me go to any appointments, no groups she went to, and she spent more time away. She became cold and bitter, constantly angry at me. This went on for months. She slapped me a couple of times when I forgot one of her dozens of tasks she assigned me during the day. She stopped doing anything for the house a month into the pregnancy. Sure, she's pregnant, I get it, moving around is hard, but she wouldn't even do laundry about 4 weeks in, and by 5 weeks, I did everything. I'm also the primary source of income. I barely sleep. I'm running on fumes. She made me sleep in the guest room. She would always try to pick fights. I never once raised my voice, my hand, or my tone. I sat there and constantly mentally reminded myself this isn't her and this would all be worth it. She didn't want me to make any baby decisions. No name, no work on the nursery, nothing. 1 month before she delivered, she yelled how fucking useless I am and how I don't do anything, and that she's staying with her mother. She didn't let me get her anything, check on her, threatened to divorce me, and get a restraining order if I even called her. A couple of weeks back, I found out about the birth of my son from a Facebook post. She posted it with her mother and some family. It fucking broke me. I tried to go to the hospital and visit. They had security kick me out. After months of outright hatred, anger, and abuse thrown at me 24/7, I had it. Odds are I'm not even on the birth certificate. I opened a new account and all my deposits go there. I took half out of our joint account. She never bought baby stuff ahead of time. Who knows what that money was going toward, so now that she has to buy supplies for our son, she's used up every cent. I've gotten a lawyer. The house is mine. I'm the only one who spent money on it in any way. I've sent the rest of her stuff to her mother's house. I'm demanding a paternity test. I'm not spending another damn cent until I get verification it's my son. I'm absolutely divorcing her. She chose the stay-at-home life. If she cheated, she's screwed. Her mother has money for a couple of weeks' stay, not even close to enough for full-time support. If he is my son, I will absolutely be getting my rights as a father for a relationship. Last week, my soon-to-be ex-wife called. She was practically hyperventilating. She wanted to come home. She was crying how it was all a mistake. She's not staying with her mother. She's at a friend's house. She wants to come home. She wants our son to have his father. I told her I don't believe he is my son. Why would she pull this shit if he is? Show me a paternity test and I'll do everything I can for him and him only. She wants to meet tomorrow at a park so I can talk to her. I said sure so I can finally say everything I should have said months ago to her face. My parents are hoping we can make up, but they absolutely understand if I won't. My brother is a deadbeat jackass, so I don't care what he has to say, but my sister thinks I should at least hear her out. Update. I had to speed up the process of actually talking to her since the story spread quickly around on the internet, inevitably reaching someone involved with friends or family, and now way more people I personally know are getting the details than I'm comfortable with. Oh well, my bad. Before I ended up chatting with her, I opened up to my parents and sister about what was happening in detail. My parents were flustered at me hiding the more unsavory details, to say the least, and are probably going to be checking up on me daily for the rest of the year to make sure I'm okay. My sister would probably have to be held back from thrashing her, so I had to get a friend to help with the chat since my sister would not be able to contain herself. So basically, within hours of the story going into the digital stratosphere, I called my wife back as quickly as I could to finally sit down and talk. We chose a local park this morning and I had a friend of mine record the conversation from beginning to end. I was basically ready to hear the generic affair story and get out of Dodge. But of course it got complicated. We met at a section with picnic tables and picked one as far away from other people as possible to avoid them getting wrapped up in any awkwardness. She looked terrible, haggard, stressed, and thankfully without the baby. She tried to have the big emotional chat and whatnot. I wasn't tearing up or acting like the hardened badass. Frankly, I was just wanting to figure out what this was all for. I didn't even get to ask the question before the floodgates spilled. I'm going to attempt to relay this story as best as I can, because even looking back on the recording, it's a mess. Also, it's because I don't 100% believe it, so fair warning, it could all be fake. This all started with her mother. As I said before, my wife's father was absent. He started off well, having 2 sons with her mother before her. When her mother got pregnant with her, her father went from being the picture-perfect guy he was at first and slowly changed into a negligent, abusive, unfaithful, and unsupportive jackass, ending with him disappearing when her mother was delivering. He's been in and out of prison since. No one knows why he did it. The impression her mother always gave was of a strong, resilient woman who withstood anything life threw at her and did anything for her kids. She has claimed to be in therapy for years. In reality, she has managed to conceal a deep hatred for men outside of her sons, but according to my wife, there was favoritism toward her. My wife also found out she stopped therapy almost a decade ago, but never told anyone. Her mother seemed to always have some slight against me, and now I know why. She was never hostile, but certainly wasn't warm to me, and hearing about her secret hatred, I kinda knew where this was going. Roughly about half a year before she got pregnant, my mother-in-law slowly began sowing seeds of doubt and bitterness into my wife. Apparently, she had a full mental break. She told her about me staying late at work, possibly hiding an affair, or that myself providing the majority of the income was setting her up for a hard divorce. Everything my mother-in-law's husband did to her, she convinced my wife I would do to her, and she pumped this poison into her for months. My wife always idolized her mother, and compounding that with anxiety she suffered from for years, she dove in deep. As soon as she got pregnant, like on the dot, she fell into a mental hole within days. And that's when her mother got hold of her again. Hearing about her pregnancy apparently triggered something fierce in my mother-in-law, and it spiraled from there. She had my wife fully convinced it was happening again. Every single thing my wife did to hurt me was at the behest of my mother-in-law. Combined with pregnancy hormones and undiagnosed mental illness she claims to have, and stress, she completely lost her mind. She 100% believed I would bail, so she was punishing me first, culminating in her moving in with her mother and leaving me out of the birth. While I was sending the papers and started the divorce proceedings, she kicked into full-blown postpartum depression, and when her mother finally got her, when she finally beat me, which I guess was her victory over her ex, she had no more use for my wife. The family involved in the birth included my mother-in-law's sister and my wife's brothers. While my mother-in-law and her sister knew what was going on, my brothers-in-law got fed the bullshit narrative of my mother-in-law spun. When my mother-in-law was done with her plan, the entire facade came down and my brothers-in-law found out everything upon questioning my wife. They were horrified. Needless to say, postpartum, facing a very grueling divorce on her side, no longer welcome in our home, and having done everything to alienate me from my son at the behest of a broken lunatic, reality hit her like a truck. She torched her entire life because her mother is a broken shell of a human who used her to enact her own sense of justice. The very mother who washed her hands of her after she got what she wanted. Or at least this is the story she gave me. Frankly, there are many holes in her story. The starting point of the pattern of abuse, the claims of who was involved in the delivery, me being absent from appointments, the friend she's staying with, and of course my alleged son's paternity. It seems way too fucking crazy to be made up. Who the hell would go to the effort to make this up facing what she's facing? As soon as she finished, she said she's setting up a paternity test and gave me the information I need. With luck, it should be done in roughly a week or so once I do my part. She gave the most sincere apologies any human being has ever given. She's begged for another chance. I was frankly too stunned to say anything, so she left and promised to call soon. I don't think I can give her another chance. I don't think I can ever risk anything like this again. God, I'm still hoping she's just being a cheating psycho and spinning a sympathy story to try and throw me off because this got way too complicated. Beneficial Music said, sometimes you read something so far from your personal experience, it's hard to understand. I love my husband. We waited 10 years to have a child. I was the horniest I've ever been when I was pregnant, and he was involved in every doctor's appointment. It was so difficult to try to understand why she was doing the things she was doing, and frankly, they are inexcusable. Wibble Wobble J said, what a nightmare. After how she treated him, I doubt he'd ever be able to trust her again. I understand wanting to do the right thing by the kid, but what happens if they get pregnant again, or she has another mental break? I think he needs to protect himself and get whatever access to his kid he can. This final story was made in the same subreddit by a user named Sweaty Dark. The post is titled AITA for leaving my boyfriend for no reason. I have been with my now ex-boyfriend Eric for 2 years. Overall, we've had a good relationship, nothing crazy, until last night when things completely fell apart. We were out at a bar with some of his friends, just having a normal night. Drinks, food, the usual. Eric and his friend Mark were joking around, and Eric made a comment about how much Mark was eating. Something like, "Careful, Mark, you'll eat the whole damn bar." It seemed harmless at first, just typical guy humor, but then Mark looked right at me and said, "If only she knew." It was one of those moments where you instantly feel uncomfortable, like there's something going on behind your back. I had no idea what Mark was talking about, and the whole vibe at the table shifted. But before I could even react, Eric exploded. He went off on Mark, screaming at him to shut the fuck up, and even tried to get physical. His other friends had to hold him back. Mark didn't really react, which only made Eric angrier. The whole thing was awkward as hell, and we ended up leaving early. When we got back to my place, I couldn't stop thinking about that comment. So I asked Eric, what the hell did Mark mean by "if only she knew"? What don't I know? And instead of just answering me like a normal person, Eric lost it again. He started yelling at me, telling me to drop it and stop being paranoid. He was dodging every question, getting more pissed every time I brought it up. I wasn't trying to pick a fight, I just wanted to know what was going on. It felt like there was something important being hidden from me, and I wasn't about to let it slide. But every time I asked, he'd just get more defensive and angry. Finally, he stormed out of my apartment. He doesn't live with me, so I locked the door and called it a night. I didn't hear from him until this morning, and when I did, it was just more angry texts telling me to drop it and leave him alone. At that point, I was done. I'm not going to sit around and be treated like I'm crazy for asking a simple question. I texted him back saying, "We're done, I need space, and if he can't be honest with me, then I don't want any part of this relationship." End of story. Now, here's where it gets worse. He's been going around to our mutual friends, telling them that I left him for no reason and trying to make it seem like I'm the one who overreacted. Some of them have even reached out to me, saying I should have just let it go and that I'm blowing things out of proportion. I told them to mind their own business. I don't care what they think. None of them were in that moment. None of them saw how he acted, and none of them have to live with the pit in their stomach that I've had since that weird-ass comment from Mark. I'm not about to stay in a relationship where I feel like something shady is going on behind my back. If Eric can't be straight with me after 2 years together, then what's the point? So, Reddit, am I the asshole for leaving him over this? Update. I feel like I'm living in some kind of twisted nightmare, and the more I try to make sense of it, the worse it gets. Mark called me today while I was at work. I didn't expect him to call me because he had been ignoring me. I stepped outside to take the call and he told me something that I never in a million years could have prepared for. He told me that Eric has been putting other men's semen into my food, drinks, skincare, shampoo, conditioner, and even my toothpaste. I'm not exaggerating, I'm not being dramatic, that's what Mark said. Eric has apparently been hooking up with random men, having them finish into cups, and then using it in my meals and drinks like it's some kind of sick joke. Even as I write this, I'm still in complete disbelief. Who does that to someone? Mark said he found out about this a week ago, but for some reason, it took him that long to tell me. A week. I've been living my life, completely oblivious, trusting Eric, someone I loved, while this was happening behind my back. I feel so betrayed, so disgusted, and so violated. When I asked Mark if he and Eric were having an affair, or if this was some sort of twisted thing between them, he swore they weren't. And he even made a gross comment about not wanting to touch Eric because who knows what diseases he has. That made my stomach turn. I'm getting tested for everything now because I don't know what's been in my body. When I got home, I went straight to the kitchen. Mark told me to check under the sink, and there they were. The cups, hidden behind the cleaning supplies. I lost my shit. I threw out everything in the kitchen and bathroom, even stuff I knew wasn't touched. I don't care. Everything feels contaminated now. My home doesn't feel like a safe space anymore. Every time I walk into the kitchen, I feel like I'm going to throw up. I can't even function without my mind going to dark places, thinking about all the times I had no idea what was happening. I don't have any solid proof of this. It's just Mark's word and those disgusting cups, and I feel so powerless. If nothing can be done about this, I honestly don't know what I'm going to do. How is this even legal? How can someone get away with something so vile? I don't know if I'll ever be able to trust anyone again. This whole thing has been messing with my head in ways I can't even explain. I feel dirty. I feel like I've been violated on such a deep level and there's nothing I can do to undo it. My mom wants me to check into a hospital just to make sure I'm okay mentally, and I'm honestly going to do it. I don't feel stable right now. I don't feel like myself. I'm scared I might hurt myself or someone else. Eric was eating the same food. He was eating the food that he had contaminated right alongside me. Was it a kink, a power trip? I don't even know anymore. All I know is that the man I thought I knew, the man I loved, is a complete stranger to me now. I can't believe I've been living with someone capable of something so vile. I feel like I'm losing my mind and I don't know how I'm going to come back from this. How can he do this to me? I'm genuinely losing it. I'm a danger to myself. I won't be on. I'm going to check myself into the hospital. Update 2. After everything happened, I completely broke down. I stopped eating, stopped sleeping, and barely even felt like a person anymore. My mom was terrified, and she practically forced me to go to the hospital. I tried to put it off for a couple of days, but I just got worse. She was scared I was going to do something to myself. Honestly, I don't blame her. I wasn't okay. I was so far from okay. I felt like my entire world had been flipped upside down. I couldn't even think straight. I just kept replaying everything in my head over and over, trying to make sense of it. But nothing about this makes sense. Nothing. I ended up staying in the hospital for a week. The doctors were kind and they did their best to help me, but there was only so much they could do. They couldn't erase what happened. They couldn't make it not real. At some point, I just felt like I was wasting space. I knew there were other people who needed that bed more than I did. People who were physically hurt. People who could actually be helped. Because what happened to me? There's no fixing that. No amount of therapy, no amount of medication, no amount of time is ever going to undo it. I know that now. So I left. I'm back at my parents' house now, staying in my old childhood bedroom. It feels so strange, like I've stepped back in time, like I'm a teenager again, except I'm not. I'm an adult and my entire life has just exploded in front of me and I don't even know how to pick up the pieces. My cousin is here too, staying in the guest room, and honestly, I don't know what I would do without her. She's basically my sister and she hasn't left my side since I got here. I know she's worried about me even though she tries not to show it. I don't blame her. I'm worried about me too. The police actually took things seriously. I was scared they wouldn't, that they would laugh at me or tell me I was crazy, but they didn't. I could see it on their faces. They believed me. They went to Mark's house to get his full story since he had blocked me the day after everything went down. That hurt more than I thought it would. I thought he was my friend. I thought he cared about me. But the second things got hard, he ran. But now I know the truth. And I finally have the full story. That night when Mark and Eric were drinking together, Mark went to change the music on Eric's phone. While he was doing that, a message popped up from Lewis. The message said, "Good night, I love you," with a heart emoji. Mark thought it was weird because Lewis and Eric weren't that close, so he scrolled through the notifications and saw a bunch from the Grindr app. At first, he thought maybe it was just a joke. Apparently, Eric used to go on the Grindr app as a joke back when they were younger and having sleepovers. But the more he scrolled, the worse it got. There were so many messages. Mark said his stomach dropped. He felt sick. He never suspected that Eric was actually gay. He never even considered it. But in that moment, everything started to click. And then he realized something else. He had trusted Eric. He had changed in front of him, slept next to him, shared things with him. Suddenly, he felt violated, so he confronted him. That's when Eric broke down. He started crying, begging Mark not to tell me. He told him everything, every disgusting detail. Mark said he just stood there, frozen, unable to move. He didn't know what to do. He told Eric to calm down and go to bed. Eric passed out drunk, and the next morning, neither of them spoke about it. But then, that night at the bar, when Eric made the comment about food, knowing that Mark had struggled with body image issues his whole life, that was it. That was the breaking point. That's why Mark reacted the way he did. That's why he snapped. And now for Eric. I don't even know how to say this, so I'm just going to say it. He's dead. After everything came out, Eric completely shut down. His mom said he wasn't eating, wasn't showering, and barely left his room. She thought he was just processing everything, so she left him alone. She would leave for work in the morning and he would still be asleep. She'd come home at night and he would still be in his room, sitting there in the dark, smoking weed. She said he hadn't smoked since high school, so she had no idea where it even came from. Then one night she woke up to a loud thump. She went to check on him, and that's when she found him. He had hung himself from his ceiling fan. The weight must have been too much because the entire thing collapsed. She found him on the floor. She was the one who found him alone. I don't even know how to process that. As much as I hate him, as much as I will always hate him, I felt bad for her. No mother should have to find their child like that. No one deserves that. I'm not continuing the investigation. I don't have it in me. His family has already been through enough. And honestly, his death was my closure. That probably sounds awful, but it's the truth. He was a terrible person. He ruined me. He gave me AIDS. I am never going to be the same again. I will carry this for the rest of my life. I wish I had never met him. I wish I could erase him from my memory. I dread the day I die because that means I might see him again. And then there's Lewis. He's hiding. He's blocking everyone, avoiding all contact. At first, I didn't understand why, but now I do. He was involved. He was one of them. I didn't even consider it at first, but the way he's acting now, it's obvious. And if he was, he's either going to jail or getting hit with my car. And I'm fine with either. That's all for now. Sorry if this isn't the update you wanted, but this is my reality now. I'm so angry. The thought of death doesn't even bring me peace because he ruined that for me. There's so much more to this, but I don't think it's really necessary for you guys. It's mostly just police stuff. Eric's family wanted me to attend his funeral, and then there's the whole situation with Lewis. Also, Mark tried to sleep with me. Thank you so much for the support, and I'm sorry it took so long to update. I wasn't okay. I'm still not, but I'm doing better. Your comments and messages kept me going. I love you all. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, Gamersupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.